Good afternoon. Anybody awake out there? I hear you all talking, so I'm guessing you're awake. This is the college-wide meeting held after the last two trustees meetings. We decided to hold this after the special meeting, which is where all the fun occurred anyway. So I'm up here to say welcome, and we all do welcome you all, and to remind you that we are being recorded. So I'll act accordingly, unless you want it on camera somewhere. Those will be broadcast at a later time if you wish to download it and view it at a later time. We're going to follow a pretty good procedure. The good news is that I don't have much to say at this meeting this time, partly because I missed the second meeting. I was out of town on a family matter, and also because there just wasn't a heck of a lot that happened that was covered under the President's report. So our order of operation will be Sandy, who will consume most of the meeting, and then what little bit of time we have left, Rhea will come up, and then followed by Stacy Scholler, and then I will come back up and wrap us up and cover anything that perhaps they might have missed. So Sandy, it is all yours.
Good afternoon. I'll try to be brief, but that's probably not going to be easy today. First, I want to introduce our newest employees or promoted employees since the last time that we were together. Susan Burley was promoted to Vice President for Student Success and Support Services on November the 1st. Susan was previously the Director of Institutional Research and Evaluation since 2015. Prior to Western Piedmont, Susan worked at McDowell Technical Community College as Resource Development and Foundation Director. Other experiences include Director of Planning and Development for Burke County and Community Development Administrator with Western Piedmont Council of Governments. Susan earned a bachelor's degree from Augustana College and a Master in City and Regional Planning from Clemson University. And we still allowed her to come here even from that Tiger school there. Tu Vang was hired as our new admissions coach in student services on November the 12th, 2019. Tu comes to us from Stanley Community College, where he held previous positions as adjunct instructor, full-time advisor in general education, Eagles one-stop mentor, and most recent coordinator of the virtual simulation hospital. Tu's other work experience is admissions assistant and graduate teaching assistant at UNCG. His education includes a Bachelor of Science degree and a Master of Science degree in public health education from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Robin Hall has been promoted to Director of Purchasing position effective December the 1st. Robin started her career at Western Piedmont in 2012 and has held positions as part-time information desk assistant, accounts receivable specialist, and assistant controller. Prior to joining Western Piedmont in 2012, she worked as part-time tax preparer for Jackson Hewitt and full-time realtor broker for Cosby Real Estate. Robin earned an Associate in Applied Science degree in accounting from Western Piedmont and a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting from Gardner-Webb University. So welcome to Western Piedmont 2, and congratulations to Susan and Robin. Most of the trustee meetings for me involve the presidential search, and that will be updated a little bit later. So what we talked about at the first trustee meeting in November were some budget allocations, which the trustees have to approve any budget movements between purpose codes for our state funds, and we did post our baseline budget, which was derived from updated FTE numbers and the recurring funds from fiscal year 2019. In addition, we were allocated funds for customized training and the Perkins Grant. They also approved a list of surplus items to be sold on govdeals.com, and that was the majority of it, except for the presidential search, like I said, we'll talk about in just a few minutes. For administrative services, just a budget update, and I did give this to the trustees as well. Wanted to talk about kind of how we've gotten to this point. As we've discussed previously, there's a stalemate in Raleigh regarding the budget or lack thereof. As a brief reminder, the conference budget comes from those items from the Senate budget and the House budget that are the same, and then a committee is formed to iron out the differences between the two, which becomes the conference budget. This is sent to the governor for approval. In this session, the governor vetoed the conference budget. Both the House and the Senate would need to override the governor's budget for it to become effective. The House has done this, but the Senate has not, so we're kind of in that stalemate. Right now, the state is operating on a continuation budget based only on the recurring funds from the previous year, and for us, it's adjusted for our FTE enrollment. The House and Senate have both been attempting to pass several mini bills through to get as much of the budget that was in the conference budget as they could. You've heard about some of these through Scenic and through the news. Some of them affect us and some of them do not. Most state employees have seen a salary increase back in September, but that was due to a mini budget that did pass. However, UNC employees, community college employees, non-certified school personnel, and retirees were not included in that mini budget. Therefore, we remained in limbo. With the passing of Senate Bill 61, the system in whole received approximately 90% of our budget priorities, including the short-term workforce training parity funding. Two bills that would have addressed salary adjustments for community colleges were both vetoed by the governor. House Bill 231 would have included a 1% this year and a 1% next year, and then Senate Bill 354 would have included an additional 1% this year and 1% next year. Both mini bills would have accounted for 2% for each year. However, both bills were vetoed by Governor Cooper. So where are we now? As a takeaway, we do not know what type of raises will be funded, if any, this fiscal year. We have received the baseline budget for the recurring funds, and that has been posted so your programs and departments will know where you are and you know what your budget is currently. With Senate Bill 61, the community college mini bill, as they called it, it provided community colleges most of the funds in the original conference budget except for salary and capital projects. And that was signed into law by Governor Cooper on November the 1st. So the system office is preparing a 2019-2020 final budget package to be presented to the state board on a special called meeting on December the 11th. Once we're giving that information, we'll be able to adjust the budget accordingly. But we're expecting to have budget adjustments in December through January for the final budget, retirement, insurance, and longevity. The budget may have a few more adjustments to it because based upon the action at the North Carolina Association of Community College Presidents in May of 2019, if the budget package if the short-term workforce training money was included in the budget package, then the colleges would absorb the management flexibility reduction into the formula. The management flex was that money that they would give you, but then take it back immediately. But we got to choose where we took that money from. Going forward, they're going to absorb that into the college's budget, so therefore they're reducing the tier amounts that you get for each of the tiers, curriculum, continuing education, and basic skills. So there will be some changes there that we're not quite sure how that's going to affect us yet. The legislation will return in December, but only to discuss the redistricting map. Therefore, the first opportunity to consider further action on salary funds will be January the 14th when they come back after the holidays. The system office still believes there will eventually be a resolution to the current impasse regarding salary funds for community colleges, K-12, and the university system. But we are in a wait-and-see position as far as that goes. For you guys, if you are purchasing items for your programs or your departments, you do have a budget to go by, so you can feel free to utilize that budget. If you have purchases that may exceed that budget, just give me a call and we can talk about it and discuss where the priorities are and what we can do or if we'll need to wait anytime. So I'm sorry that that's not better news for everyone. I know the budget process this year has been very difficult, and it's one of those things where no one that I've talked to has seen anything like this. The latest that the budget has went through before has been around Halloween or the 1st of November, but never this long. But hopefully we'll see something soon. Just wanted to mention again data breaches. All across the state we're seeing all kinds of spam and phishing and just cybersecurity issues that are coming up. We just want to emphasize, never be pressured to act quickly on unconfirmed demands, even if it seems like an email is very legitimate. If it's coming from the president, check it out, give us a call. We've got people who are trying to get information on employees and vendors through email. So just be careful. If anything comes through, if anything looks odd, feel free to send it to Jim to look at, or to the business office if it has anything to do with banking information or like a direct deposit. That's been kind of the most recent hit that we've been seeing. If you don't know the sender of the request, be very cautious about clicking on any links and just review the email addresses very carefully. Just facility updates really quickly. We're still working on the Moore Hall renovations, the boardroom in 275. That should be done before December the 17th of this year. The campus signage, we're still working with the designer and sending those out for proposals to see what cost estimates come back and see how many of the signs that we can replace, or how often we'll have to do that in phases, or how many phases we'll have to do. Facility master plan, we went through all the stages and we're just now working on the final draft, working through the architects there to try to get that finalized. The school for the access road for School of Science and Math, that's going to connect us with the School of Science and Math in North Carolina School for the Deaf. You see it in place. They will come back in a few weeks and probably put some more dirt down after it has time to settle. So you'll see some more. It's not in its finished state at this point, but you'll see that being completed in the next several months. Homes Urban, as we talked about at the last college-wide meeting, we have had we went into an purchase agreement with Homes Urban to come in and purchase some of the land where the silo barns are located on the Richardson complex, and that is still in the due diligence process where they're making sure that everything's in place. Two other projects that I'll mention real quickly that we're getting ready to start is the roof replacement over Patton Hall and E Building. And in addition, on the third floor, the old Academic Success Center will be renovated to house digital effects and animation, as well as simulation gaming development. So I'll move on into the presidential search update, and there has been a lot going on over the last month and a half, so this section is going to be a little bit longer than normal, but there has been a lot that went on. We did an electronic survey that was open for about a month, if not more, and then we had 4 public forums that we invited folks to. The process of those was asking for feedback on the opportunities and challenges for Western Piedmont over the next several years, the characteristics that you want to see in our next president, and the qualifications that you would expect a president to possess. You can see the electronic survey. We had 35 faculty, 36 staff, so 71 employees in total, which is 35% of the 202 responses that we received. Students, 39%. And just a special thank you to, I know there was at least one instructor who had students complete that survey in class, so we appreciate that, getting that feedback from the students. And then 52 community members for 26%. With the public forums, we had 59 unduplicated individuals that attended at least one forum. I was really impressed that we had 7 out of our 12 trustees that attended at least one, and the chair of the Presidential Search Committee actually attended all 4. So I was impressed with the way that they are taking this serious and wanting to be there and hear the feedback as well. Ken Briggs, our consultant, he compiled all the responses into various themes from the survey and the public responses. Some of those themes you see here under opportunities and challenges, and then the characteristics. So what he did is just keywords that he would go by. So for example, and I won't go through all these to save you time, but for like academic programming, we had different responses about develop and add new technical programs, concern about the college being a transfer only, evening classes, adding evening classes, or adding AA degrees. So you can see it was kind of all over the board. Different people had different responses. From the public forum, it kind of came through as online programs. There needs to be a balance between transfer and technical programs, and then college transfer as well as the CCP. So each of the themes had a lot of different things in them, but if it was related to academic programming, he would put that in there to get his responses, and would develop these themes based upon the number of responses that was received. So again, in interest of time, I'm not going to go through each of those, but those were the top opportunities and challenges and the top characteristics of what you'd want to see in the next president. The presidential profile. The Presidential Search Committee met for 3.5 hours on Wednesday to edit, modify the presidential profile, and then the trustees met on November the 21st. It was a special session to consider, edit, and approve the final profile. This document, it's an important instrument used in the recruitment of candidates. It's the job announcement, basically, and what Ken and Briggs will be using as he recruits candidates that he knows, so that the candidates get a feel for Western Piedmont and also for what we're looking for in the next several years. As part of the special meeting, the board also welcomed a representative from the Faculty Staff Council and other members of faculty and staff to express their preferences regarding the educational credentials and experience of candidates considered for president. The board appreciated faculty and staff input in this process. Following a detailed review, discussion, and edit of the draft document, the board gave approval for the final presidential profile. You can read the profile yourself. It is on our website, so you can go and read that. But it's broken down into a background of Western Piedmont Community College, the role of the president, then the opportunities and challenges, the ideal characteristics, and the minimum qualifications. On this slide, you'll see just a few of the things that came out that the person, the candidate, will need to demonstrate that they have the ability to do these items and a lot more, but these are just a few of them, which goes back to those themes that we were talking about. So they need to be able to develop and implement educational and training programs, establish that balanced strategy, work alongside the board and develop partnerships, provide the leadership for not only students, faculty, and staff, but also in the community, understand the challenges and opportunities that are before a rural community college. We are very different, even though there's 58 community colleges. Being in a rural setting is different from being in the urban setting. So they need to understand that. Willing to make a multi-year commitment, that came out several times in the public forums. Possess leadership skills and personality traits that will unite the college and is a participatory and visionary leader. So again, you can read the entire profile on our website. It is out there currently. So Ken and Briggs will be recruiting mostly North Carolina and the surrounding states. AACT will recruit nationally, but Ken does know North Carolina. As many of you know, he came from the North Carolina system, spent many years, actually retired as the executive vice president for the community college system. And talking to him this morning, he's already had 5 candidates reach out to him, setting up phone interviews to ask more questions about Western Piedmont. He does know our school. He has worked with all of our former presidents and Executive Vice President Richard Green, and also Malone McNeely, our CFO. So he has worked with Western Piedmont, so he knows our school, which I think will be advantageous for us. The Presidential Search Committee will look at the candidates after January 10th, and they will narrow that down, and they will interview by Skype 6 to 8 individuals. Then they will narrow that list to 3 or 4 finalists that will come on campus for their interview here. When they're on campus, there will be opportunities for a public forum like we had with the presidential profile, where you'll be able to ask questions, you'll hear them, be able to see that interaction that they have. And they'll be on campus pretty much that entire day that they're here, and you'll get to meet them. There will be opportunity for feedback after those meetings so that you can tell what your thoughts and impressions were of the candidate. And Ken and Briggs will compile all of that, again, for the trustees so that they can get a feel for what each candidate brought to the table and maybe what folks did not see that they brought to the table. We will try to, the trustees will make their decision and send 3 names to the system office, to the state board for their processes. And then again, we're hoping that we have a candidate that will accept the position and be ready to start work on July 1st. So I know that was a lot of information. Feel free to contact me later if you want any more detail or didn't understand anything that we brought out today. But we did do a lot in the last month and a half. The next month and a half will be relatively slow for Kathy and myself because that's when the recruitment will take place and they will do the finalist interviews in February. So stay tuned, and we will be sending out a progress report later this afternoon that will also have some of this information in it as well, and that will be on the website posted in the next few days too. Thank you.
I like that picture, don't you? With the rainbow. My part, I promise, won't be as long as Sandy's, I promise. For those of you faculty, I have notified each of you that will be getting Perkins funding. I need you to go ahead and be spending that as soon as you can. We don't want to hold up on that, so go ahead and be getting your Perkins funding items spent. There's some things with professional development where some of you were getting some professional development paid out of Perkins as well, and go ahead and get registered for those things. At the board meeting on November 12th, I kind of give an update as to what's been going on in the different areas here on campus, and we talked about the How to Pay for College event that was held at the Old Rock School in Valdez, and explained a little bit about what that event was. That was a good event. I also talked to the board about the 8th grade tours. We have now conducted 3 sets of 8th grade tours, and as well as New Dimensions. This is the first year we've had a group from New Dimensions come, and I was really glad to see that. And that they've expressed a lot of interest in the school, and so that's good. We still have Liberty Middle and Heritage Middle schools that will be coming in February and March of next year. On October 22nd and 24th, we held most of our program advisory committee meetings. Each program, if you're not aware, each program has advisory committees made up of local industry and business people to help us, give us input into what we need in our programs to make our programs relevant. And they're very, very important to us. And so we host those meetings at least once a year, sometimes more. On October 31st, we held a Halloween Jamboree event on campus. And if you will remember, it was pouring the rain that day. And so we had to move it inside. But it did not dampen the success at all. In fact, it was well attended and the room was quite packed the whole time. We had a 7th grade career fair on November 1st that many of our faculty and student services staff participated in. And this is not necessarily recruiting for Western Piedmont. It's talking to 7th graders about careers. What do you need to do if you want to be this career? I want to do this career or this career. And so it's a real good event. And then on November 8th, we had faculty and staff participate in a community college fair at both Patton and Freedom High Schools. And again, we're very well represented by both faculty and staff. We're very fortunate here at Western Piedmont. We ask to get assistance, and we have people that immediately respond. And so we're real pleased with that. Debbie Jennings, who is the current director of CTE programs for Burke County Public Schools, and I have been going around to each of the high schools visiting the CTE programs in each high school and giving me an opportunity to talk with the teachers and to see how we can work together with those CTE programs in the high school. And it's a great opportunity for me to get to know them get to know me, as well as get some faces that they can help get the process started so they know someone to call here on campus. But I've also been able to give information about our programs to them. For example, when I was at Freedom High School, I was in the Introduction to Engineering class that was taught by Melissa Smith, and some of you may know her. I was able to give her Michael Daniels' contact information. She's wanting Michael to come and talk to her class, and Michael is working on trying to get that set up. We're also in the process of developing some new 9 to 14 pathways for students, so starting in the 9th grade all the way through the 2nd year of community college. What courses do you need to be taking depending on what program you're interested in? And so we can even help maybe advise students, well, take this class in high school or this class in college. And so it's a great opportunity for students, and we're really working to develop more of those. On October 29th and 30th, NACLS, which is the National Accrediting Agency for Clinical Laboratory Science, was here on campus. This is the accrediting agency for our medical lab tech program. Beverly Berry had conducted a self-study earlier in the year and had submitted that, and they came for her site visit, and Dr. Helmick and I, along with a few other staff members, were present for the exit interview, and they were extremely complimentary of our medical lab tech program, had no recommendations for us. So when you see Beverly, tell her congratulations. That is really good. They will now forward their report to the national board, who will determine the length of their accreditation, and their length of accreditation can be anywhere from 7 years to 10 years. We're very hopeful that ours will be 10 years because we had such a good report. Just to mark this day on your calendars, we're planning the next Pioneer Preview. It is going to be on April the 23rd. April the 23rd. And you remember how successful Pioneer Preview was last year. And we did that with a month planning. So this time we're getting early start on it, April the 23rd. Registration for Spring 2020 opened on November 4th and will go through December 6th. As of right now, our enrollment's up over what it was at this time last year. So let's hope this continues. We want our enrollment to stay up. Also at the board meeting, I gave out the proposed 2020-2021 academic calendar, and it was approved. We'll be getting copies of that to you shortly. And that's what concluded my report.
Good afternoon. My report will be even shorter. Wanted to give you an update on what the foundation has been doing the last couple of months. This report was given to the trustees by Mr. Ronnie Thompson, who is our trustee representative to the foundation board. The foundation is winding down its annual campaign. It actually will end this Wednesday, so we're having great response. We're excited about that, and we're looking forward to seeing what those results are. As you know, you probably remember we had 100% participation from our trustees as well as our directors, and then we went right into the employee campaign. A big thank you to Ashley and Danny for co-chairing that again this year, and all of their captains. It was a great campaign. We had 97% participation, so you all, thank you. Thank you so much. Your donations do make a difference to our students. The foundation will hold its annual giving celebration on the evening of December 5th. Next Thursday is when we will completely wrap it all up. And Danny and Ashley will be joining us for that big celebration. We're looking forward to that, and we will let you all know our final numbers at the next college-wide. The foundation held its scholarship reception on the evening of October 29th. We had close to 100 attendees, and there were right at 40 scholarship recipients present, and we were able to match up around 15 recipients with their donors. So that's always wonderful when the donors and the recipients get an opportunity to meet and talk. And thank you to all the financial aid department. You all helped tremendously with that event, and we appreciate that. And finally, the mini grant committee will be meeting in early December. They will be reviewing and making recommendations on all the applications that were received this fall. So stay tuned. You'll be hearing more about that in the coming weeks. And a big thank you to Lisa Miller for coordinating and leading that process. Thank you all, and I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Well, it's my job to wrap us all up and send us on our way this afternoon. So a few things that I will cover with you. First, I want to say thank you to all of you for your participation in the President's Search. I have nothing to do with it. My successor is chosen by the trustees, and I am staying at a distance from it, which is appropriate. It is not appropriate for me to choose my successor. I will work with whomever they choose in whatever capacity that is. And I'm not talking about a paid position. I'm talking about work with them as we do the transition. But thank you all for participating in that. It's an interesting time in the history of the college. It's kind of a scary time for some people, but it's also an exciting time. So I'm sure the trustees and those of you who are participating in this search will do a great job of choosing my successor, and I will look forward to meeting whoever that person is when they show up. I have 221 days left and 4 of these meetings left to go. So Kathy told me as I walked out, she said, well, only 4 more of these meetings left to go. So apparently that all works out. A few announcements. Well, first, before I get into the announcements about things that are coming up, I did want to mention one thing, and that is about enrollment, because there seems to continue to be discussion about enrollment, as there should be. There's a report that has just come out from the system office about the last 15 years of enrollment in community colleges across the state. When I began here, shortly after I began, within 3 or 4 years of when I started here, we had over 850,000 students who were enrolled in community colleges across the state. There are now 700,000 students enrolled. So we're down 150,000 students. That is not unusual. It's happening all across the country. People are going back to work, therefore they are not feeling the need. We also have a decline in population for those students whom we serve. With a few exceptions across this state, most of those being in the large urban areas, community colleges are realizing a decline in enrollment. Nobody around us has an increase in enrollment, so we're not in unusual circumstances. If you look at those charts, though, and Susan has just recently pulled some information for me, that we are continuing to decline in all areas except our CCP enrollment. That's a little dangerous, folks. So as we go forward, we really need to go back and try to recruit that traditional student that we used to get. We are fortunately in the place where we still have lots of room for growth in CCP. Many colleges around us are at 30+%. One college that I know of is over 50% of their enrollment is in CCP. CCP is great. We embrace those students. We love having them on campus. But with a pen stroke or a change in leadership, that enrollment could go away. It's not as guaranteed as the other enrollment. So looking forward, and I noticed that one of the things up there was enrollment growth, the new president will have a challenge on his or her hands to grow enrollment in areas, not just in CCP, because I do think there is enrollment growth that will occur there, but in being creative and innovative and coming up with new ways to grow. The good news is that our enrollment is up over 8% in the fall. We need to work really hard. Recruitment, as I have said many times, is everybody's business. Whoever you are, recruitment for new students is your job. It's not just the faculty members. It's not just the folks over in student services. It's not our recruiters who are out in the high school. It's everybody's job every day. And how you feel about this institution and how you reflect that in the community really helps people make up their mind about whether to go here or not. We have thousands of success stories to tell. And it always amazes me that I tell a few of those stories to people in groups that I get into, and they have never heard them before. You know, they don't know what we do. They don't understand the depth. Occasionally they do, and this college is well respected in this community and necessary in this community. So as we go forward, work with the new president, whoever that person may be, and help them grow this institution. Enrollment growth is key. The good news is, as I said, is that our enrollment is up a little bit, and that is allowing us to put some positions back. The positions are strategically designed to grow enrollment. They are designed to free up, in some cases, some people's time so that they can concentrate on enrollment, new programming, but there are also some new positions that we've got coming on board will all go towards adding that. Ultimately, what we're doing is serving students. We just need to serve more of them. At the next meeting, Susan Burley will be presenting. Some of you probably wonder why we introduced her and then she didn't present. Well, she's just come on as VP, so we weren't going to make her come on as VP and then 3 days later make her do presentations to the board. So we followed the same format. So Susan, you're on deck next time for the student services update and other things. A couple of things that I think you all are aware of. We are closing at noon on Wednesday for Thanksgiving. Yay! So everybody go home and cook. Anybody wants to come to my house and cook, that's fine. Be glad to do that. Or you can come do the next one, which is help prepare for the President's Open House on December 17th from 9 to 10:30, in which, yes, I will be cooking for that. So I hope you all will come. We are going to be, if you notice, Sandy said we will be finished with the new boardroom by December 17th. That's why. So you will get to have a peek into the new boardroom if by some odd circumstance the truck that is bringing the stuff from Florida goes off the rails and we don't get it done. We will do the best we can with what we have, but we're looking forward to that. It's going to be a really nice addition. Our trustees have never had a boardroom, and this is actually a seminar room that we will hold small classes as well as board activities. But I think you'll be impressed with the work that has been done. I commend our maintenance folks and Sandy and all of those guys that have worked towards getting this accomplished. They did a great job, and I tried not to be too much of an interference, but I know I was. So it's important. Christmas closing is the 23rd of December until the 2nd of January. If you'll note, I think that occurs we leave on a Thursday and we come back on a Thursday, which is kind of odd timing. So I think that's right. But it falls at a strange time this year. So just be aware that those are the official closing dates. As you may or may not remember, is it not Thursday? When is it? Somebody say. Well, that's even better then, isn't it? Okay. I had my dates off. But as you will recall, those dates are fixed by the state board, that they require that we fix those dates, and we could only have certain number of days that we can give off. So we are adding some vacation in there. Other than that, we hope that you all will have a great Thanksgiving. Go home, celebrate with your family, get back here, and we'll have a lot of stuff that we're doing when you get back to help the institution grow, and look forward to any comments that you may have. Tell us how we're doing, or you can make an appointment and come see me. So thank you all for your time. Good day.